How's it going, guys? Dynamite here, coming to you as always from the Digital Warfare 24/7 forums, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the basics as we are all sort of getting adjusted to this new game of Call of Duty Ghosts. Just some of the basic things that I have found have really helped myself as far as getting adjusted to this new game. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about the perks. Now, just like in Black Ops 2, the focus perk is going to be extremely important. This is the perk that's going to compensate for view kick when you're hit with enemy fire, and despite the fact that the kill times are very fast in this game, focus is still going to be able to allow you to recover from this view kick and get a chance of putting some shots on target to hopefully get the kill. Now, the second perk I want to talk about is Ready Up. Now, Ready Up is analogous to Dexterity in Black Ops 2, and it's basically going to be able to get your gun up faster. And that is going to be key when it comes to coming around corners or coming out of a sprint animation, and you need to get your gun up in time to take down an enemy. It's only one perk to, or 1 point to spend in order to get this perk, so I would highly recommend this as well. Now, the third perk that I'm going to highlight very strongly here is going to be Stalker. Now, in Modern Warfare 3, I know one of the things I had to really adjust myself to was pre-aiming corners with Stalker, as that was the first title where that ability was available, and it's no different in this game. Stalker is absolutely crucial, especially with assault rifles and how dominant the assault rifles are. These three perks that I just mentioned are really what you're going to want to build your foundation on top of. Now, alongside Stalker, there is also Quick Draw, which is worth 3 points, just the same as Stalker. I do think Quick Draw is pretty badly overpriced. I think you get a lot more bang for your buck with Stalker being able to slide around corners and pre-aim and keep yourself safe from these very fast time to kills. I think Quick Draw encourages more aggressive and potentially dangerous self-destructive play, so I would steer clear from Quick Draw unless you really have the points to spend, unless you have, those 6 points to spend on both Stalker and Quick Draw. I wouldn't run Quick Draw by itself without first investing in Stalker. Now, another one that I want to highlight is going to be Dead Silence, which is crucial for being able to sound whore, which just like in Modern Warfare 3 is going to be a very big part of this game. Now, I think it's very important to pick this up before you pick up Amplify, which is going to make enemy footsteps louder. I think Dead Silence, by keeping your footsteps silent, are actually going to be able to, by default, allow you to hear enemy footsteps a little bit louder, so it's already going to help you in that regard. Definitely Dead Silence is going to be the more important pickup over Amplify. And it is going to be a perk that is pretty much, apart from the three I just mentioned, going to be up there in terms of essential perks that you want to equip. Now, Marathon is another perk that I've been using a lot. It gives you unlimited sprint duration, and I found it really good for transitioning to different locations in the larger maps of Call of Duty Ghosts. Just make sure that you use Ready Up with it, as that's going to allow you to come out of sprint faster, and then also Dead Silence, since you're going to be making a lot of noise while you're sprinting, unless you're using this perk. Now, before, when I had been speculating about what perks I'd want to run, I was thinking a lot about the Recon perk, combined with the Extra Tac perk in order to spam tacticals out, and I'm finding this isn't quite as useful as I was thinking it was going to be, and here's the main reason why. It's because the map size is going to be so much larger in this game that in Modern Warfare 3, with the really small claustrophobic maps, you could throw out a flashbang and you would know where the chokes were, where players would be running to, and also your spawn locations would be a lot closer at the start of a game, so you'd be able to tag people off spawn and stuff. You can't really do that at all in Call of Duty Ghosts. The spawn distances are going to be a lot further, and there aren't going to be as many choke points that funnel people down where you can tag a bunch of people all at once. That, and of course the tagging mechanic has also gotten far less reliable. You see a quick flash of the player's outline through whatever cover they're hiding behind, and you will see them on the mini-map as well for a brief period of time, but it's not nearly as good as being able to see that constant arrow in Modern Warfare 3, so maybe as I continue to experiment I'll find a way. Also, cooking the 9-bang is a really, really long process, even with strong arms, so I'm not really sure that this can be considered a valid strategy at this point, though I'll keep experimenting with it. Now, as far as a couple other perks I want to highlight real quick, always keep a class with Blind Eye on for oracles, and also for countering air support. Blind Eye is going to keep you invisible to these oracles, which really anyone can call in since the oracle is in the support strike package. And also from air support, since there aren't any lock-on launchers in this game, you're really going to want to have Blind Eye so that you have something on hand to combat that. Now, I would also advise, if you play a lot of objective-based matches like I do, keep a class with Sitrep on tap for spotting IMSs and the IED lethal, as these are going to be deployed around objectives a lot in these game types, and they're going to be something that you want to try to avoid. So keep a class with those couple perks, and now we're going to transition into weapons. So as I mentioned earlier, this game is going to be strongly dominated by the assault rifle class, due mainly to the map size and the fact that the SMG range drop-off has been nerfed pretty badly in this game. Talking about the assault rifles, basically every single assault rifle is very usable in this game. The competitive preference that I've seen so far in some of the MLG streams that I've seen have been the Remington R8 with a foregrip and a red dot, which basically turns it into something that's very similar to the Modern Warfare 3 ACR. My personal preference has been for the AK-12. I found that a lot of the assault rifles don't have especially clear irons, but the AK-12 is a really good exception in this regard. I think it has really clear irons. I can use them even out to really long range, so really liking that aspect of it. It also has a fast reload cancel, high damage, so I can use it with a silencer without using too much. And not having to use an optic, since it has those clear irons, lets me put extended mags on there as well. The AK-12, just fast killing and very strong overall. It's my favorite. Now, there are going to be several standout SMGs that deserve a mention, and those are going to be the Vepr and the MTAR X. Now, the Vepr I've actually seen used in competitive play, and it's also a favorite of Mark of J, I know as well. You can use it with a grip to give it basically zero recoil whatsoever, and then if you put the range extender on it as well, you can get it to pack a little bit more punch out to a further distance. It has really nice iron sights, and like I said, very, very, very little recoil, especially with the grip. It makes it very comparable to the M27 from Black Ops 2, except it's going to have that faster SMG handling, and it's also going to have the largest magazine size of any weapon in its class. So the Vepr is definitely something that you should experiment around with. It seems to be something that's getting a lot of attention from upper level players and from competitive play as well. Now the MTAR is going to be your basic SMG assault rifle hybrid, and it's going to have damage that allows it to kill out to a much further range than most of the SMGs. It is going to have a little bit of bounce to it, so I've seen a lot of people running it with grip, and the iron sights are definitely very strange on this gun. They're going to block a lot of your vision on the screen, so I've seen most people running it with a red dot sight, but especially for some of those medium to smaller, which is of course relative in Call of Duty Ghost maps, such as say Freight or Flooded, those are going to be maps that are going to maybe cater a little bit better towards the SMGs, and like I said, the MTAR X and the Vepr are going to be the ones that you're... Moving on, let's briefly touch on equipment. You have C4 that throws just about as fast as it did in Modern Warfare 3, but it has taken a noticeable hit in the power department. It's no longer going to get you reliable kills unless you put that C4 really, really close to someone. Perhaps this can be remedied with Danger Close, but this is of course a 3-point perk, and that's really a lot to spend on C4. So I've actually been foregoing my lethal in a lot of situations and just running a tactical, either like a smoke for capturing flags or a 9-bang for pushing into areas that are contested. There's also the IED, which is of course the improvised explosive device. It works basically just like a claymore, except it doesn't have any tripwires, so it's extremely hard to see. Countering this difficult visibility is the fact that if you trigger it, you can keep sprinting, and usually you'll be able to get out of its radius, but even so you're going to take a lot of damage and it's going to stun you, and it's going to make a lot of noise, so anyone watching the area where you just got hit by that thing is going to be able to pick you up very quickly. This is the reason why I definitely highlighted using Sitrep in one of my earlier sections where I was talking about perks. Moving on from equipment, let's talk a bit about the kill streaks, which have been toned down greatly, especially the lower level ones. You remember being able to call in those Predator missiles at just 5 kills in earlier games, or the lightning strikes in Black Ops 2. Basically, you were able to rain down kill streaks at a very low number of kills or score in earlier games. This is not going to be the case in Call of Duty Ghosts. No longer are those earlier kill streaks going to be as powerful. I've seen a lot of people running the dog, but for 5 kills you can actually get the IMS, which in my opinion is going to be extremely strong in objective game types, and I would highly recommend using it. It's going to give you 4 shots. A lot of people aren't thinking to look for them, and I've been getting a lot of kills. Now with the removal of lock-on launchers, if you can get up to the choppers, they are going to be extremely effective. there's going to be a lot of potential backup kills with those, but I haven't seen too many people earning them. Maybe it's not going to be much of a big deal. With the kill streaks being less powerful overall, it's going to make the Specialist package a lot more effective. So if you're running Specialists, I would first of all focus on your sort of bread and butter perks so you can get a good streak going, and then have your unlocks focus on extending that streak so you can stay alive as long as possible. A note that you do not get all of your perks at your Specialist bonus like you did in Modern Warfare 3. You're actually going to get your 3 unlocks, which are going to be unlocked according to how many points they are worth, and then at your Specialist bonus you're going to get an additional 8 points worth of perks. So that's still a good amount, and I would encourage people to be experimenting with that. I've seen a lot of people making Deadeye builds or unlocks that are based on supplying them with more ammo like Scavenger, or the ICU perk, which is going to allow you to regenerate health faster. These are all perks that are going to do a good job of extending your streak. So definitely I want to experiment around more with that, as I've just been going with the basic loadout since kill streaks do cost a lot of squad points. Moving on, let's just tie this all together and let's talk a little bit about playstyle. So I've gone back to Modern Warfare 3 earlier. Pre-aim your corners and sound whore. It is going to be just like getting used to Modern Warfare 3 all over again, except with even faster kill times and larger maps. So you are constantly going to want to have your sights up as you're running around. You are not going to be able to depend on your gun skill really in the middle of a gun engagement like you could in Black Ops 2, where basically SMG rushing was possible on pretty much every map and you could strafe jump out of the way and pick up kills in that map. Pretty much if you get hit first, there is not much of a chance that you're going to be able to win the gunfight unless you have been prepared for it, and unless you have, say, like Stalker, where you can strafe behind a wall. Also, the spawns are very confused at this point. It's probably the biggest downside of this game, so to sort of combat this, try to keep your backs to where your friendlies are on your minimap, and also keep your backs to the map boundary. This is going to minimize the number of times that you have someone come up from behind you, although getting spawned behind is something that I've had happen. A little bit frustrating. More than ever, you're going to want to select weapons that complement the map. In Black Ops 2, you were able to grab an SMG and basically go to town on pretty much any map as you stuck to certain areas. There are just some maps in this game, especially the castle one, which I can't think of the name of right now, where you're just going to get absolutely crapped on if you try to run an SMG, and really you're going to need a marksman rifle or a sniper to be able to be especially effective, or an assault rifle, but there are maps that are also going to cater more towards SMGs, like smaller ones. The one with the hot dog mascot on it, which I can't remember at this point. I seem to be having difficulty remembering the map names, but just be aware of what weapons you're selecting and realize that you're no longer going to be able to run SMGs on every single map. Another point that I wanted to bring up here as we're bringing this to a close is the idea that SATCOMs are going to be pretty useful earlier on in this game, as off the grid, which counters SATCOMs, is a much higher unlock. So my advice would be, don't get over dependent on these SATCOMs, because once people start getting to a higher level and start running off the grid more, then we're going to... And it's going to be interesting to see how the metagame plays out with the balance between protecting yourself from sound whoring, protecting yourself from SATCOMs. Are people going to go more with off the grid and wiretap, or are they going to go more with dead silence and amplify, because you're just not going to be able to equip all of those perks and still be competitive from a gunplay point of view. So we're going to have to see what emerges as the dominant combination as people explore different options and get to higher levels, but that's really part of what Call of Duty is all about for me. It's about being able to experiment and have a lot of fun exploring all the possibilities that the game offers. So hopefully this has given you guys some good ideas and will help you guys ease into this transition period of Call of Duty Ghosts. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.